You know, growing up in the 50s, we didn't even have words for it. A friend of mine was at my house. He saw the Mennonite cookbook on my shelf in the house. And he said, I know somebody who knows a Mennonite, gay Mennonite. Suddenly the light went on, another Mennonite who is also gay. And that was before BMC had really started.
When I first started BMC, I knew that I would never, in my lifetime, see acceptance in the churches. But somebody had to start it.
And somewhere along the line then somebody connected me with Martin Rock. And so we started writing to each other. And I think in my memory he said, I'm trying to start an organization and you're the first lesbian. And so then I remember, and I forget which annual conference it was in Indianapolis. There was an insight session on human sexuality. And Martin Rock was going to be there. So some friends and I went over to hear him, having never met him. And I remembered we sensed this tension, a lot of tension, but we also, one of the saddest things, we sensed hatred. As the insight session was over, we introduced ourselves to Martin. We offered to escort him to the car. And he didn't really know why we had offered. But we had heard that there were threats against him for being there. And so he always dubbed us his bodyguards, his lesbian bodyguards.
BMC was being denied the right to have a booth at the annual conference. So several of us on the Women's Caucus Steering Committee, and at that time none of us were, I don't think anybody was even a closeted lesbian, I'm not sure. But we were very supportive and saw some connections between the issues. So we agreed or offered that BMC could put their literature at our Women's Caucus booth. And we had this publication, Femalings, and we wanted to have an article about Christianity and lesbians. And they knew about my sister Bev, and I said, well, she might be able to write this article about, it's basically how she squares, you know, her sexual orientation with her Christian faith. And during, of all the kinds of times for this to come up, it was the general board report. And some man stood up and said, I see that the denomination gives $500 to the Women's Caucus, and they should not do that because the Women's Caucus is teaching women how to be Lebanese. He couldn't seem to say the word lesbian.
After several years, I guess I told the wrong person, who I thought were my friends, that I was gay, and to this day I don't know who it was. They would never tell me, which is unbiblical, I believe. I was told that they would have to take it to the executive committee, and I would be there in closed session probably to give my side of the story. Well, they had a closed session, but I wasn't there. And so, but it ended up that how they got rid of me, they didn't renew my contract. So, you know, so I worked another 6 months, and my boss all of a sudden realized that because I was gay, I wasn't competent. And I started BMC just before this happened. And so I took letters that I received from people. I took them to the office and answered them there.
I mean, I knew mentally that there had to be other gay Mennonites, but to meet one, to talk about our common experiences, it was just like a wonderful change in my life.
BMC, it's like, it's been a voice for those who have, for whatever reason, not been able to speak for themselves. It's been a presence. As an organization, has advocated and educated and tried to get both denominations, Brethren and Mennonite, to see the light.
But I think the next generation is really going to make a big change in society and churches, mainly because they know people. They know gay and lesbian people.